many of the panelists are beautifully bringing it. Bring this. So when you from the body, in the phobia, that is to places. Yes, there are many keeping building sympathy.
Yeah, I would. Am I audible now? Is it okay? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Guruji, आपने जो बोला वो बहुत सही बात बोला. Ramakrishna ji, and also whatever you said, and Ma Shivananda. What has happened, if you see, is that I just wanted to kind of take slightly and a step back in terms of getting a view on all these things. If you see the kind of separation that has been done, right? Definitely, for example, we have been the Jain, the Buddhists, the Sikhs, for example, of late, the amount of separation that has been created from the so-called forces, the deep state forces, you can call it, you can name it, whether it is religions. Deep state forces have been successful in creating that division, and because of which we are not united. And Ramakrishna ji actually made a very good point. Indeed, because we do not know our scriptures. Just to be clear, only after I came to Swamiji, I understood that the Surya Vamsha Surangi Samarajya, which is there, that is the lineage that is being carried out, actually is the same lineage in which where Bhagavan Rama is there, Gautama Buddha is there, and the Tirthankara, the Jainism Tirthankara is there, and Guru Nanak is there in the same lineage. But the problem is that because we don't know, when somebody questions us, it is the same thing. It happened in the Kerala File movies, right? Where that particular child, that particular college going girl is questioned and she cannot answer. So whoever is providing that answer, whoever is providing that narrative, people will veer towards that. So it is very essential, it is absolutely essential that we get grounded on our scriptures as soon as possible, and that is much more than an urgent need. If we cannot get grounded on that, we will be questioned like this. And this is the kind of a what is called a shorthand forum where we'll come together and only we discuss it. But as a force, when we have to go out, this knowledge has to be broad based. And absolutely, that is where Swamiji is doing a lot of work in terms of Parameshwar Sena and etc., where he's bringing these kind of knowledge together. So let us at least support that. So absolutely, धर्म गुरु जी आपने जो बोला था वो बहुत सही है कि हम लोग चिदर बिदर गए हैं, गारंटी के साथ चिदर बिदर गए हैं. मैं कर्नाटका से हूं, वहीं पे भी चिदर बिदर गए हैं. अब कहीं पे भी जाओ, ये चिदर बिदर बहुत बहुत क्या बोलते, बहुत गहराई से दिखता है. That is the reason why we need to be grounded on these scriptures and understand what is the effect of this on the overall civilizational aspect of Hinduism. So that is why coming together on these kind of things, voicing together, and understanding that the kind of game that is being played on the backdrop of all of us as Hindus is very important, and supporting one another around this particular area is supremely important. And Swamiji is doing so much of it, and let us support him as part of Kailasa and as part of other efforts. With that, I would like to end from my side. Thank you so much.
Brahma Agarwal ji, Nityanandam, namaste. I wanted to, ask you to share your thoughts here to see what the issue is and what you feel about what we can do.
Oh, sorry.
Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Brahmaji,
Okay.
we are able to hear you.
So my thing has been, a Muslim guy asked me in a flight, why do you worship stones? So we have come up with a booklet which explains the significance of all the murtis in the temples. We are such a big challenge. People want to know about Hinduism. Where do they go? Where do they go? They go to a temple, and Pujari says, we wake up the god at 5 o'clock in the morning. We wake up the god, and then we give him a bath and feed him, and then put him to sleep at 2 o'clock, and then wake him up again at 4 o'clock. Now, what do you think people get the message? And our children ask us, how can you put an elephant head on a human body? How can such a big body ride a mouse? So there are so many things, and the Christians think we are worshiping millions of gods and goddesses. We suppress our women. We worship cows. So this sort of information is there. And our Hindu, anywhere, Kenya and this country, no temple has any pujaris who can explain what Hinduism is. So this is the biggest challenge we all have. And of course, we keep saying, Modi ji keeps saying, Vasudhaiv Kutumb, that the whole world is one big family. So our teachings are so wonderful. Everybody should know what our teachings are. We should, in this Western world, be able to. And if one person came, Osho, see, 95 Rolls Royces used to be in his ashram. Prabhupada came here, and how many thousands of millions of people have become Hare Krishna? Then Mahesh Yogi came here, and how many people, they formed a university here. Everybody practices yoga. And who are the teachers? Americans. So there's tremendous inferiority complex, especially in India, the word Hindu. See, whatever the Muslims did and the British did to destroy our culture, then the Congress came in. Now, who is the head of Congress? Is a Christian lady, Italian. And his son, her son, is keep criticizing the Hindus. He says Guru Nanak was okay, Swami, Jain Swami was okay, Buddha was okay. Hindus are the problem. So much criticism he created. Because as far as they are concerned, the family is or has been a Muslim family. And we don't know that. Everybody is, मैं मोक्ष का प्राप्त कर लूं. I want मोक्ष. तो देश का अभी आरएसएस यहाँ पे एचएसएस अमेरिका में बट इंडिया में अगर आरएसएस if there was no RSS, what would have happened? If Modi ji was not there in 2014, what would have happened? These people had plans to finish up completely Hindu community. See, Hindu Dharma to is Sanatan, is universal, is you can't destroy the religion, the teachings. But we must practice, we must know what Hindu Dharma is. And this is where we created a booklet which explains the significance of all the murtis. And in fact, I shared that with the imam of a mosque. And what he says, the imam, he says, if these murtis have a meaning, now this is the booklet, explaining the significance of all the murtis. How many people know the significance of Ganesha? So when I shared it with the imam of that mosque, he said, "Oh my God, why don't you share this information with the whole world? Nobody knows about it." And that's true. Our kids want to talk about our dharma, and the pujaris don't know English. And our children don't know Hindi or Gujarati. So there's a big, big challenge. The way things are going on, it's going to be a big problem that our temples will become just like museums because children are not going to worship. So that's a big challenge. So Swamiji, I have been associated with Swamiji. Oh my God. I think he is the only one who speaks the way he speaks about Hinduism or Hindus. So we need more people like that.
Definitely, Brahmaji. I mean, as a, you've been
Thank you so
known
much.
to, you've been known to being a like a philanthropist who is supporting all the Hindu causes, and you've been, you are a
Actually,
Dharma Rakshaka.
if there is going to be peace in the world, it's only because of our teachings.
Mhm.
Vasudev Kutum and Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, all our teachings are for the whole universe. Namaste, the very word. Now, how many people really know the meaning of namaste? So I bow down to the divinity within you. I'm looking at you as divine. So we have to spread uh, our teachings. And these Americans, especially, are very receptive. When I shared this information about namaste, that I bow down to that, this is what it means. And they after the COVID, they started this way and that way and all that instead of shaking hands. And I said, this is where we invented this namaste 5,000 years ago. They were so impressed. So we have to get up and share this information within the community and with the rest of the world. Thank you. I'm
So beautifully said. Thank you so much, Brahma Agarwalji. Like you said, it is only Swamiji who can say the way he speaks. Because I completely agree, relate to what exactly you are saying of how, especially given the current scenario, how is it going to happen for the current and the next
Youth
generation
especially.
of Hinduism, being the youth. And myself, like at the age of 12, I had the blessing to meet Swamiji in my life. And from there on, needless to say, it has, for me as a Hindu, and I feel so proud about being a Hindu. And secondly, Hinduism is not just a philosophy or a religion or an understanding to me, it's a lifestyle and experience that Swamiji has given. So like you beautifully highlighted, the way how Swamiji has divided, what inspires me and what I would like to add in here, I feel it's important to add in here is Swamiji is the only one that is blending what is of all the ancient, the age-old sciences, making it relevant to the modern world, like introducing the world's first spiritual AI, the Ask Nityananda AI that Swamiji has introduced, where the today when people want to speak, when they want to see, they can just go and use AI and play with it, or whether it is establishing the digital ecosystems, whether YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, name it, and there Swamiji is, and gifting this science and gifting all the great sciences of Hinduism to people, and that I feel is something very
Yeah,
important.
the Ask Nityananda AI, which is like exactly like something that I would like to add in here, because what Brahma Agarwal ji brought up as being how our next generation does not even know like the meanings of, like, let's say namaste. So now where can they go? So this Ask Nityananda AI, which is a completely a free AI to be used, we have Agarwal ji, we already have more than 100 models which are trained only purely on the Sanatana Hindu Dharma scriptures. So anybody, we are actually having currently the user base in over 200 countries, where now the younger generation, because it's AI, they are able to go ask questions as to understand the meaning, the terminologies in Hinduism. Why do I have to put kumkum, or why should I do namaste? Why should I bow down to Ganesha? Who is Ganesha? And we even actually have specific GPTs, and these are completely available for free. And right now, through this, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is actually enriching over millions and millions of people who have now started understanding the true meaning of Hinduism. And so I just wanted to add this in because I just got so excited with what you shared, because I feel that's a very, very important point where people, the generation, do not have a source to where they can go and look in.
And actually, this
I'll
brings me.
I'll just share one more item. See, I've
Yes,
also
please.
come up with a booklet besides this booklet, which explains the significance of all the murtis in the temples. We have created another booklet about the festival, the significance of the festivals of Hindu Dharma. See, all our festivals have a significance. Shivratri and Makar Sankranti and Diwali and Vijayadashmi, they all have a very big significance. So we have created a book on that also. So, but Swamiji is, I really admire him for who he is, or you. Well, I've spent quite a bit of time with him, so I can really understand. Oh, what a dynamic and forceful language he uses for Hindu Dharma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brahma Agarwalji, very beautifully highlighted. And now I would like to direct this point that Brahma Agarwalji was speaking about to the United Malaysian Hindu Youth Fellowship and the leader of the United Malaysian Hindu Students League, Usha Muthuswamy, who is here with us. It's wonderful to have you here and talking about youth and Hinduism. And you leading the Malaysian Hindu Youth Fellowship, and Malaysia, which was part of the Srivijaya Empire, which was part of the 56 Hindu nations. Now, as a Hindu, I would like to direct this question. How do you think this needs to be addressed by the current youth, by today, for the Hindu youth today?
All right, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be in a discussion with all leaders, Hindu leaders across the globe. Hari Om Vanakkam, I'm Usha, Vice Secretary of United Malaysian Hindu Voice. So I'm pretty sure, as the name suggests, here in Malaysia, we are an NGO or organization focusing on uplifting the Hindu youth, being a voice to the Hindu community. And we are aware that there are a lot of issues happening around the Hindus globally and even locally here. And hence why we are here to support the Hindu community in every way possible, and especially the youth. Because we believe that the youths need to be given or equipped with the knowledge and the strong cultural grounding going to be help them to support them with the Hindu knowledge, the knowledge of Hinduism. And in the long run, they will be the backup or the strong warrior of Hinduism. And here's a scenario here, what we are currently facing. So given the media that we have been using, the common problem is that a lot of things are manifested or misinterpreted, stereotyping, marginalization. There are a lot of issues happening around us. And especially these youths are prone to all these factors. Why? Because they are not well equipped with the knowledge. As mentioned by our friend earlier, he touched that we must be knowledgeable enough on what Hinduism is all about so that we can counter whatever challenges that come along our way. And rather than being superficial on what is Hinduism, what Hinduism practices are trying to implement or instill in every human being, we have to go a little deeper. Well, we have to explain the essence of it, the significance of all the practices, everything, because Hinduism is a practice of life, it's the lifestyle. So when we equip this deep knowledge among the youth, we believe that the practice, the essence of Hinduism will be strengthened a lot more. So again, rather than being superficial, it is our task, our responsibility to instill the deeper meaning of what is Hinduism all about to the younger generation. And here in Malaysia, what we are doing currently to support the Hindu youth is basically equipping them with the basic skills. Because first, if they are able to understand themselves, groom themselves, build their self, it will be a lot more easier for us to instill, to bring in what Hinduism teaches, what is Hinduism all about. So in Malaysia, we have a lot of organization coming along supporting the Hindu youths to understand the culture of Hinduism, the tradition, and the teaching of Hinduism. And here today we have a lot of leaders who are from various parts of for the world, and I believe that it would be very beautiful if we can come along together collectively, enhance the knowledge, support our Hindu youths, and equip them with sufficient knowledge so that whatever struggle, challenges that come along the way, they're able to face it confidently. Again, knowledge keeps the power and confidence. And with that, we can go a long way. And just a quick summary here, because all of us have shared beautiful comments, beautiful point of views and feedbacks. And like mentioned by our friend earlier, Dharma protects those who protect Dharma. And here, United Malaysian Hindu Voice, collectively, together with other entities in Malaysia, we are standing with the youths, ensuring that they're never alone in this journey to uphold Hinduism, uphold the righteousness. And thank you. Again, it's a beautiful platform for us to work together to support our Hindu youths. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Usha. And what you have highlighted is an important aspect, because talking about youth, it's first important that we realize the responsibility that we carry. Because, like Swamiji says, we are the future of Hinduism, and it's important that we are not the hanging roots of the banyan tree, but we become the grounded roots, which continues to further the growth of banyan tree, further the growth of Veda Mata. And with that is something that really inspires me, because every youth today, every Hindu youth today, everyone, like in various different ways, how Swamiji is empowering. If we see the statistics of how, whether it is increase in drugs, increase in alcoholism, increase in addiction, increase in so many things that's happening in the current youth generation today, the mental health crisis, which is hitting a peak like never before. And I think this is something, this would be very good for, we have our, one of the House of Representatives and members of Parliament of Kailasa, Dr. Sona Kamath, who's also a doctor. And I'd like to invite you to add in a little bit here about today's youth realizing about Hinduism and how you see that Swamiji is doing it. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Nithyanandam, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be on this very esteemed panel. I'm delighted to be amongst these thought leaders across the world, from activists to researchers to religious leaders. So who am I to be on this esteemed panel? I'm just a physician. But you know what I am? I'm a devotee of Swamiji, and I've learned something really important, that as a mother and as a Hindu mother, I have to have a very loud voice, and I have to understand myself the importance of our teachings and the importance of giving that to our children. Because you're right, those roots, if they're not strong and they're not built by our families, they're not going to last very long. There are too many forces out there, as you've heard already from, Neil G, thank you, politicians who've, been here and have already been campaigning, and researchers, Ravi G, and our thought leaders, our gurus, who are out there carrying that torch forward and protecting the Dharma. But if we all don't stand up together, our children will not have a future. Our children are already being targeted to hate themselves as Hindus, hate their skin color. This goes back to centuries, generations. This is colonialism. It hasn't gone away. It's just here in a different form. Neocolonialism exists today, and our children are subjected to it. The reasons why so much depression, so much, drug use, all of these statistics are increasing. Why? Because there is a force out there that is making these children not feel strong about who they are. It is our responsibility, and it wasn't until I met Swamiji that I understood this responsibility that I have as a mother. I didn't even understand the importance of what I have been given culturally as a heritage until Swamiji awakened my eyes. And now I understand that this is what is going to preserve the world. This Dharma is what actually carries the torch forward for the planet. And so it's really important, and I'm going to give you an example, that we are sabotaging ourselves. Hindus are sabotaging ourselves. And as Swamiji says, the criminally negligent Hindus are really needing to be held. And I will tell you, I was a criminally negligent Hindu until I met him. But I will tell you what happened. You know, this recent Kashmir terrorist attack was really brutal and it was really devastating. I was really upset that the major media houses did not carry this information. I should have known better because this is their agenda. They are going to silence this voice, but they really didn't give it any justice. So to bring increased awareness just to my little tiny school platform that my children go to, I added a little message the other day on our WhatsApp channel of all Hindu mothers. And it just simply said, please join me in praying for the lost Hindu lives, to the lost lives of this recent terror attacks. Please pray with us and stand in solidarity with all Hindus. Immediately there was a response to this. And do you know what that response was? That response was, why just Hindu families are we praying for? What about the other people? The people that were there that helped, they were not just Hindus. Why aren't we praying for everyone? This is somebody who, maybe like myself years ago, doesn't understand what is fake media and real media and what is actually happening. They're taught that, you know, we are actually silencing ourselves and we are the ones that brush some of these most atrocious type of happenings under the rug. We don't need others to do that for us and silence us when within our own community, we aren't standing up for ourselves and aren't even recognizing the atrocity. This was a devastating act, and you can't simply say a prayer without raising that this could be a political ploy. I don't care if it's a political ploy. I don't care if it's hate. I don't care why it happened. It happened. And innocent lives, Hindu lives, were killed. They were targeted specifically. Their IDs were looked at. They were looked to see if they were circumcised. How appalling, how barbaric in this day and age that this occurs and nobody picks it up. It's a quiet happening across the world. When do we get a voice? And if we don't have a voice, what will our children have? Our children won't have a voice. If we are criminally negligent ourselves, what kind of heritage will we leave these children? And so it is, you know, it is really an important responsibility for us as parents, for us as responsible Hindus, to take this torch forward. And Swamiji's given us, and there are really a lot of religious leaders who are out there doing the work. And Swamiji's pulling it together and giving us a platform finally to be able to have a voice to go forward and carry this torch of Hinduism to the next generation. Because if it doesn't happen with us, it dies here. So thank you, Mom.
But thank you, Ma. Thank you so much. And this is a very important. And actually, I would like to invite Shri Amrit Bhandari ji next. And one point I would like to add here, as we talked about this, is as Dr. Sona had highlighted, is about how, for this very reason, now Swamiji is awakening. Like I remember this one word that Swamiji said. He's going to be, even before awakening the world to Hinduism, we need to awaken the Hindus themselves to Hinduism, to make them understand that, to revive the identity of Hindus within about Hinduism to Hindus. And which is why Swamiji, even like right now as we talk, Swamiji is literally reviving this Hindu identity powerfully through a very beautiful course called Paramashiva, where so many people, I am blessed to be a part of, conducting this program. And when I see Hindus from across the world, Australia, Europe, America, and various different parts, even India, so many people, so many Hindus come, and the first thing that they say, I hear this from everyone, is I have never understood Hinduism like what Swamiji is introducing now. And through the Paramashiva program, Swamiji is not just telling about Hinduism, but the experience of and reinstating the responsibility within every Hindu, especially when I see so many Hindu youth attending this program. Everybody goes back understanding that they are responsible for the future of Hinduism. They are responsible to stand up. Next time when this attack happens, we don't wait for someone else to go stand. We don't just want to go and take the candlelight march and stand there. No, taking responsibility to prevent these attacks, taking responsibility to echo in the global stages and make the noise in the right places into the listening of the right people. Like how when I saw, in fact, when Swamiji first time empowered so many women, Hindu women dressed in traditional attire, went and sat in the UN General Assembly in the half-day general discussion and on the equal and inclusive representation of women. As a Hindu, I felt proud, and I'm sure every Hindus, for the number of views, the comments, and the appreciation that poured in, it fills me with pride to see how Swamiji is taking Hindus. You can see today Hindus in the Europe completely dressed up in the complete traditional attire, sitting in the United Nations, and here you can see this is in France, the International Forum of NGOs, official partnership with UNESCO in France. And then here we can see the ambassadors of Kailasa at the UN General Assembly 2023, where we met with various world leaders, prime ministers, presidents. When they saw, firstly, the sheer empowerment that Swamiji gave, where Hindus stood there with Angavastram, Dhoti, Sari, Rudraksha, talking proudly about what Sanatana Hindu Dharma does, what Kailasa is doing, what the Hindu nation of Kailas. And here we can see this is in the UN General Assembly 2022. And when I see this, it really reminds me, and also I feel proud of what kind of a impact that Swamiji is creating. And with that said, I would like to request, I think we have both Amrit Bhandari here and we have Ravi LG who is wanting to speak. So I'm going to, since Amrit Bhandari has not yet spoken, I'd like to request Shri Amrit Bhandari ji, if you could please go ahead and you could shed some light, right after which Ravi ji could also join in.
Hello. Hello.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Amritji, we can hear you. Amrit Bhandari ji, please go ahead.
Can you hear me? This is Amrit Bhandari. I have a problem with my video. Can you hear me?
Yes, everyone can hear you.
Okay. My name is Amrit Bhandari. I'm from Los Angeles area. I'm a Jain. Nityanandam to everybody. Namaste to everybody. Jai Janendra everybody. There were 2 attacks in Kashmir and Bangladesh. They're killing Hindus. We can talk about Hinduism. We can talk about Ahimsa. But these are the Muslims. And they don't understand Hinduism. So our talks and rituals will not help us. We need to get tough with the Hindu Muslims. And I'm not to see, I agree with Mr. Shastri. He said few things, but I believe we can do all the things. I'm a Jain. Tan Machan, Tan Man Vachan Kaya, we believe in Ahimsa, but Muslims, they're killing us. And our religious background, everything, Ahimsa, they're going to stop them killing Hindus. Government has to get involved, and this is what I feel. I only feel that good Muslims are dead Muslims. Thank you.
Thank you, Amritji. And Raviji, would you like to go ahead and add in? Raviji, we can't hear you. There seems to be some issue with your mic.
Namaste. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. So first of all, say thank you for having me. Unfortunately, it's very, very early in the morning where I am, so I do have to depart. But I didn't want to depart without saying just final key bits that I think would be helpful to everyone. So the first thing that I will say is I would encourage everyone to read the 2nd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in particularly verses from 60 to 63. And this is where very importantly Krishna explains to Arjun that all battles are effectively lost on 1 square foot of real estate. If you lose control of your senses, if you let anger consume you, you're finished. There's nothing that anybody can do for you. And we see this playing out in the Ramayana as well, when Ravan dies, where Ravan is told that you had all this buddhi, all this gyan, all this knowledge that you had, and in the end your Indriyani still betrayed you. So we have to be really mindful of if our Indriyani, if our mind is betraying us. And again, Krishna later on goes to explain that the mind will act like an enemy if you can't control it. But if you can control it, it will act like for you a best friend. So when we are going through these extreme emotions and when we are feeling things, we need to maintain some semblance of control. And the reason why I bring this up it actually directly concerns the youth, because there's and again, refer back to the Mahabharata. At the end of the Mahabharata, there's a very poignant moment that most people kind of skip over, but it's actually quite important. Duryodhan is dying. He's been defeated by Bhim, and Yudhishthir is standing over his body, as are the rest of the Pandavas, and with Krishna. Yudhishthir is being very haughty. He's being very proudful and bashful, saying, I can't believe he thought that he could defeat us. I can't believe he started this war. Saying very certain things like that. Krishna turns to Yudhishthir and says, do you think you could have beaten him without me? And in that moment, Krishna is encouraging you to cast your mind back over everything that you've read and ask yourself, what have I been doing this whole time for you? And this is where, when we look at our youth, we really need to evaluate what is the benefit for them to be Hindu? What are we doing for them? See, when we look at things like conversion and all these other kind of issues, it really boils down to very few simple things, which is what's the socio-economic benefit to begin with? All the spiritual stuff comes afterwards, because you can't be spiritual on an empty stomach, no matter how much you want to be. And I think that when we meet these basic requirements, when we meet these basic needs and actually play out and really put forward some of these ideas and some of the methodologies that were actually quite commonplace, we really quickly realize that actually we're just really play acting at being Hindu. We're not really doing the Hindu things, and we're really Hindu in name only. And it's really difficult. And I think this is where there's a running joke that, at least amongst my friends that we have, which is if the people that don't like Hindus really knew how hard it was to be Hindu, they'd actually feel sorry for us and leave us alone. Because to walk the path of a karma yogi, to walk the path of karma, it is incredibly hard. You don't get to blame anybody else. You don't get to, make excuses. It is all on your own decision making. Now, if you are not putting the things in place and practice that support your own decision making, then you're lost. And this is where we need to support each other. And people talk about Hindu unity. Hindu unity is really, really simple. It's not that hard. It's just a choice. Today, I'm going to find another Hindu and I'm going to work with them. We are going to find a problem together and we're going to fix it. And if everybody does that at a local level, organizational level, national level, Hindu unity is achieved in a couple of hours, really. But the problem is, it goes back to what Krishna said, which is if your brain is actively working against you, that thought never enters your mind to begin with. So when we are discussing these situations, and it's very easy to be incredibly emotional about these difficult subjects, just ask yourself the question, is my mind actually betraying me right now? Can I reel myself in? Can I get a hold of the reins? And this is why I always refer to the kids that I work with. When you're reading the Bhagavad Gita, remember that front cover. You have the 5 white horses. You have Krishna as your charioteer, and you are Arjun. Krishna is supposed to be your Sarathi. He's supposed to be your charioteer, holding onto the reins of the 5 white horses, which are representative of your 5 senses. And I think it's really, really important that this is the message that we really convey to our kids, which is you have the opportunity and the luxury that our ancestors didn't really have, because they were really fighting an existential crisis that, truth be told, we don't really have. We have a material problem, a time problem. And I think we again, I appreciate what I said at the start, which is some of this might be shocking or some of this might be new to a lot of people. But when we look back historically, the default setting for most Hindus was unity. It's just that we've convinced ourselves it wasn't. And I can give you 100 examples where Hindu unity was the norm. It was absolutely the standard operating model. It's just that we've been told and we've believed and we've accepted that that isn't the case. Because the fundamental problem with Hindu unity that nobody talks about is, okay, we're all Hindus, we're all united. Now what? Now what do we do? Do we go around taking over the world? Do we go and build moon bases? Who's going to decide what we do next? And I think that's where fundamentally lies the problem, because to be united, you're looking to achieve something. Previously, when Hindus, were coming together, or when humans, take religion out of it for a moment, it was either out of survival because we're a tribe and we need to come together, or it was out of necessity. We're going through a difficult time, and rather than going through it by myself, I'm going to go through it with my village, my tribe. Those circumstances haven't changed that drastically. And I think we need that much bigger aim of, okay, why are we uniting? If someone can articulate that to me, and where it can articulate to the rest of the world, hey, Hindus, this is why we're uniting, outside of an existential problem that for some people it just doesn't exist. If you're in Ohio, or if you're in Nebraska, or somewhere in the US or somewhere in Europe, then you don't face the same problems as, if you're in Malaysia or Indonesia or Pakistan, Afghanistan. Your worldview is completely different. And to put yourself in that other person's shoes takes a lot of work and a lot of time. So I think we need to be open and honest with each other and say, okay, let's talk about why we're uniting. And then we can decide if I want to unite with you in the first place. Because you'll find out very quickly that everybody has a different idea of not only winning, but why we should be
Yes,
uniting.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Ravi ji, for bringing in multiple aspects to this. Thank you so much for beautifully highlighting different aspects to this. I just would like to add a small thing to what you said, because I blessed to hear this from Swamiji, how multiple times Swamiji has explained about how Advaita, the oneness, is what brings us to that completion, right? Like we evolved from unicellular beings like amoeba to fish to monkey, monkey to humans. And then from each of these levels, we have had the physical breakthroughs, and then we had a mental breakthrough. We have even had a conscious breakthrough from monkeys when we evolved to human beings. But it's time to have that super conscious breakthrough to actually have that ultimate, which is what we all need to come together for. It is that time where human beings need to achieve that some ultimate potential, which is what all of us are seeking towards, the moksha, what we all in every sampradaya of Hinduism agree to, the goal of life being moksha. So that is something that I just wanted to add to what you said.
You highlighting that point reminded me of how beautifully Swamiji explains the 12 pillars of, Sanatana Hindu Dharma, because Hinduism gives that ecosystem for an individual to move from, the dharma to artha to kama, from fulfilling all his things. That's why the 12 pillars of Hinduism, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and forming the Upanishad, the upasana, then upavasa and utsava. Then the basis, the foundation of which is Ganga, Gita, Go. Each of these, how in every pillar, in each of these different aspects, we are empowered to live, to experience the ecosystem, ultimately to move to moksha, whether Ganga, Gita, Gayatri, Gomata, Upanishad, Upavasa, Utsava, and Upasana, all of them leading us from dharma to artha to kama, ultimately to moksha. From dharma-centric artha that we start, to everything becoming moksha-centric dharma, moksha-centric artha, moksha-centric kama, which will lead ultimately to moksha. So thank you so much for highlighting it, and this just brought me to this point I wanted to share. And we also have joining with us next Sri Nadarajan Haran from Jaffna, Sri Lanka, who's also a journalist who shares a lot about Hinduism. So I'd like to invite Sri Nadarajan Haranaya to share, to shed some light on this topic.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, go ahead, Ayya.
Nityananda, everyone, hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Nityanandam, first of all, thank you. I said a lot of thank you. Organize this important and discussion meetup, Nityanandam. Hinduism is coming to all living being is the world, and there are no difference in religion, caste or genders, everything. Only in Hinduism did they realize the importance and stone, soil, sky, air, and water. And many millions of years ago, the ember came its God and made them now to living being. But then after 1,000 were killed in the war in Sri Lanka, similar to this incident, reminding again. This incident that happened today is heartbreak. Such incidents should not happen to anyone anymore. The number of moral school has decreased in the amount of normal education like Johar has educated among the youth and young. It is very important that they are coming under the leadership of Kailasha in the coming times, and it will definitely happen to open more than schools in the Sri Lanka, especially Jaffna. We are waiting at the moment. Nityanandam, Musti.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
And actually, just one thing, Haranji, I just wanted to add, since you're from Jaffna, I know we have had the persecutions and that Hindus there have also faced. And one thing being like how our scriptures, the libraries have been burned and Hindu scriptures have been lost. And I would like to just add in here as like Swamiji has now, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has successfully revived over 1 million palm leaf scriptures, and now it's actually available for free. Since you're here and you're from Jaffna, this just reminded me because this is one important contribution for Sanatana Hindu Dharma, where many of these scriptures, like Jaffna, the universities and the libraries that were burned, is only one of thousands of others that were burned in various different locations, and like across the the Hindu diaspora spread across 56 nations, was spread across 56 nations, and many of these scriptures got burned. Today we have the world's largest Hindu library, which is Kailasa's Nityananda Hindu Library, where Swamiji has successfully restored, collected many of these palm leaves manuscripts, some of these that got burnt, partially burnt, or some of these that were, thrown into trash by the people, the ignorant people. All those Kailasa has collected, and now we have over 1 million such scriptures, and it's completely made available for free. And I just wanted to add this because I know you would also be very passionate about these scriptures and Hinduism and how this Hinduism having the right roots, especially in different parts of the world where this has been lost. So I just wanted to mention that. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much. And next, I would like to invite, we have various guests that are joining here with us today. And it's really overwhelming and wonderful to see so many of us, so many of you who are all making the difference, whose all of your voices matters. And when we all come together here, and as Swamiji has united us in this platform, it really fills me with so much of joy, because we can collectively create that impact that we want. We can make the right noise into the listening of the people. And that is wonderful. So we thank all of you once again for joining here. Next, I would like to invite Sri Vijay Kapoorji from Niagara Hindu Samaj, who's here with us. Sri Vijay Kapoorji, Nityanandam, are you able to hear us? Yes. Nithyananda.
Namaskar ji.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for being here. I just wanted to ask you the question of, I know you're a Hindu activist who's been working a lot, a philanthropist as well. And I would like to bring us to the final part of the discussion towards, so as we approach towards a solution. I would like to hear from you of, we've addressed the causes, we've addressed the various different aspects of it. But now let's come to the point of, how do you think, in your experience, Vijay Kapoorji, what do you think will be the direction, or what would be the solution? Who should take responsibility for this, and how can we bring an end to this?
First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. However, what you asked that what we should do, the responsibility is ours. It's not anybody else. You got to understand that we are in the Kali Yuga. In the Kali Yuga, everyone with deities, or you can say about the people who are just having the extremist ideas or something, destruction ideas are there too. They will dominate. Unfortunately, this is going to be screened very well among all of us. Once the screening is over, the Sat Yuga has to start. Now, in between the timings, whatever we have it, here you will see that the crimes, natural calamities, destruction, highest of this vandalism, and you can name anything, is going to be right on the top at the moment. So we, as Hindus, we must take our responsibility that we have to educate our families, friends, children, that what we are, we have to recognize that in the whole universe, the Sanatana Dharma is the only one. We can call it as a religion, but actually it is not a religion, it's a way of life. We got to learn how this way of life we have to devote. Take an example of Sri Krishna, Ramayana, Ram. Those are all the examples in front of us. And we just read the books also, but we don't do the practice on that. If we continue doing those things also, don't do the practice and listen to other people, don't take any responsibilities ourselves, then definitely the destruction is there. So very shortly, I'm going to say that the responsibility is ours. In our temples, I just heard that Mr. I think Bhandari, Brahmaji, he was speaking on these books also, what the meaning of all these things there. So I requested him also to send me a copy of that too, so that we can look into that. But the question is, what are we trying to do? Our people, because instead of uniting, they are the leg pullers. If you grow somewhere, they'll try to do the disturbances to create unhealthy atmosphere and create the problem for the other society members. For so many years, we have been under the rules of the foreigners always. They come, create a lot of nuisances, and the things we could not learn so far. And unless and until we start doing the practice ourselves, we cannot unite. Our own people, as I said, they are the leg pullers. They will not cherish your victory. They will not cherish your freedom and achievements. They want to criticize you. They want to demoralize you. Once these things are going on, the unity is difficult. In India especially, look into this one. The rulers for the last over 75 years now, the rules were being done by the foreigners practically. They were all the different things, but I don't want to name too many things like that. But the point is, our own people, they are the culprits. We have to start working on to show the general public educate them. I just heard this sister, she was talking from Malaysia also. It's a very good youth organization, which is she was trying to work out on that. And I think these things definitely are needed right now. And I thank you very much for this Nityananda ji, the step what he has taken so far. And that's definitely enlightening for our religion, our Hinduism. And Hindus, ultimately, definitely, they are going to succeed, regardless whatever is going to happen, but only in Satyuga. Kal Yuga, we are just at the verge of that finishing of the Kal Yuga. Thank you very much, because these are just very briefly, I want to say that. And I think this is what we are trying to educate in our temples. And I go to the mosque, I go to these gurdwaras, I go to everywhere. Okay. Thank you very much. God bless all. Jai Nityananda.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijay Kapoorji. And one thing that I would like to also add in here, or I would like to bring in, is Ma Muktika, would you like to share on how this aspect, that as we are talking about the solution, as we are approaching the solution, how do we look at, and we are having Vijay Kapoorji and various people who have been, who all of whom are highlighting on the fact that not just awareness, but also the importance to, for Hindus, one is one, but also that's an understanding what, like Gia had highlighted. If a person wants to stand up, what do they do next? What is the solution? What do we travel towards? So would you like to highlight on what is the solution that you think?
Solution is within ourselves. We have to create more understanding among ourselves first, then distribute that understanding among our fellow members, families, through the temples, through the unities, and through all these actions, what you are doing, Nityananda ji, he's doing that thing also a great job. And I was really thrilled to see all these kind of the actions were going on. So the solution is among ourselves and within ourselves. And we have to educate, and we have to inform our fellow colleagues, whatever we have, and we have to educate them through the temples, through all the gatherings. The more and more preachers we have, will send it out, everybody start talking about these things also, the education will wake up the whole society. That's the only solution, I think.
Vijayji, I think you brought up a very good point. See, just like how we have the Vatican that is considered as the Holy See for all Christians, when there is, a proclamation or something that comes from the Vatican, sharing, then all Christians, abide by it. Similarly, when the Muslims, or when each community is looking at what comes from their scriptures, or the being who is at the helm of it all. Similarly, I think Hinduism is really ready to take on a holy see that is specifically there for all Hindus, for everyone who is part of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, who feels that the benefit for them comes, as you very rightly put, it definitely starts from within us, the way we take responsibility. But when you have that guru, when you have that enlightened master who is going to be there as the one who has taken up the responsibility for everyone, for the 2 billion plus Hindus and others across the globe, then that being becomes is at the helm of everything. And Kailasa today stands as the solution that has been given to us by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivamam, as the holy see of all Hindus. It is a land, it is the nation, the sovereign nation that has been created to support, to empower, to stand by every Hindu on this planet. It is meant for Hindus. It is going to be run by Hindus. It is run on Hindu principles. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita is the preamble to the constitution of Kailasa. And when we have such a huge asset, when we have such a huge asset available for us, all we need to do is really come together and say, in that space of Advaita that we have learned from our Shastras, how do we align and make use of the benefit, make use of everything that is coming our way to live Sanatana Dharma? For, as everybody said, it is not a religion, but it is a way of life. And how do you live that way of life? How do you learn? How do you imbibe? How do you radiate the principles? How do you create your life filled with success, fulfillment, and completion? The solution is right there in front of us. Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who has been coronated by over 1,000, pontiffs, who have come together recognizing what he is bringing to the entire humanity. And for the nation, the sovereign nation of Kailasa, that has been created by him as a solution for all Hindus. I think it's time we came together. I think it's time we stood as one and shared this empowerment with the rest of the world. And I think that is what I wanted to share here and bring to the notice of everyone, that if we do not come to that space, the future of our children, the future of the next generations is going to be deeply impacted in a way that I don't think we are prepared for. That's what I wanted to share, Ma.
Thank you very much, Muktananda ji. A wonderful points what you mentioned on that. I can add a couple of more points in there too. Since we have been learning and listening right from our childhood, the charity begins at home. United we stand, divided we fall. These are the examples given to us, but we are missing the actions.
Yes.
The actions are united, unity, and know yourself within yourself. Once you realize that within what you have it, and you will spread those things also outward too. At the moment, it has become a basket of the good apples, but one or two, the bad apples are there. It is creating these disturbances. So unless and until we take out those bad apples, we cannot be united. But our attempt should be there, and we should always try to move forward on it. And I really appreciate that this message which Nityananda ji is giving over there to unite all that, and it's really appreciable. I started doing that thing in Canada also in 1980s to get all these temples together. But again, a lot of our people, they're jealous about each other, and this is where it broke up again. But I started the Canadian Council of Hindus to bring all the temples together. But the selfishness is there too. So we got to be aware of it. Our enemies are within us. Be aware of it. But go within yourself, understand yourself, look into what's right or wrong. You make a decision. Don't let other people make the decision for you. Then only we can survive and we can win. Dhanyavad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijay Kapurji and Ma Muktika for highlighting that. And I know it's nearly 9:20, and we have still a lot, because this topic that we're talking about is not something that can get over even in a day, if I have to say. But and keeping that in mind, I just wanted to request, there are more guests here who are waiting to share. So I'd like to request Ma Aparna Hande, who has been she is a proud Hindu who's been in the armed forces, a nurse, and she's also been awarded Woman of the Year in Cerritos City in 2012. So I'd like to request you to speak on what you think is a solution for Hindus.
Aparna, if you can please unmute.
Hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, okay. First of all, I would like to thank Ma Mukunda for inviting me to this platform. I must admit, I'm still learning about Hinduism myself. There is so much depth and beauty in tradition, and each day I'm learning. And this platform is really making me to think very deeply. When I was working in the hospital as a nurse, I often faced questions from my colleagues. Well, they will ask me, how come you worship elephant god? How come you put that red dot? And then my patient used to ask me, saying, how many snakes you have in your pocket here? You know, they used to get scared of me being a nurse. So many things I faced, but I did not have logical, spiritual answer to give them. You know, I will just pass time and go away. But now I'm learning deep into it, and I have a confidence that I can answer that. Besides today, talking about Hinduism, all of your expert has said your viewpoint very well. But I'd like to add one other side of me as a nurse. It is very sad situation. Being a retired nurse from military, I can see when I joined 1965, Pakistan war with the same height of the spirit and passion left my home without telling my parents and joined in Jammu. The same place, Jammu, Kashmir, Rajouri, I was there serving the wounded, our soldiers. Today I feel I wish I would have been there. If nothing else I would have done, at least I would have served them with the, I don't have words to say. That's I'm missing. And now I'm too far away. And physically also I'm not able to move fast. Otherwise I would have gone to that place. So I am very part of those family, and that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aparna ji. And yes, Neelji, I think you're wanting to say something. Please,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sonali and everyone else. Swamiji. Swamiji, I met first time in Columbus when we opened the actually Nityananda Swami Temple in Columbus 2007. And I was actually chief guest here with the Swamiji too. And second thing about, I think one of them, somebody say one from the moderator, my son wasn't believing in God. We explained him and talked to him. He said, why don't you just study yourself, Gita, Quran, even Christianity, like Bible. He studied by himself, all Vedas and everything. Now he says, Daddy and Mom, I think Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma is the best religion on planet Earth. Okay. And other thing, a lot of people say we have thousands of God. We don't have thousands of God. We have one God under the one tree, under the one roof, across the world, across the even universe, not even world. Okay. Just like if you're talking about we have the president in our country, is only one president, but he got the whole cabinet working for him. And then each state, 50 states have 50 governor and then 50 cabinet. There's thousands of people working for the president of the United States. Same thing, our God, Vishnu or Lord Krishna, or whatever we call Shiva, they are exactly, we have a, just like without air, can we live? Can we live without sun? Can we live without water? All those things actually is good thing for our mountain, trees, everything. And that is important for the life to live. And that's why we pray them and we believe them. They are the God, but they are the God's exactly cabinet. And that's where actually I put it on. A lot of time media asking me the questions, thousands of God. I said, then, let me tell you one thing. Can you live without air? And air is actually we consider as a God, because without air we cannot live. Same thing water, same thing tree, same thing mountain. And that's the way I explain them. And that's why I want to just tell them to everybody else. Thank you very much. Namaste. Jai Sitananda Swami.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Neelji. And that Swamiji says the beautiful line that Swamiji quotes is Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. It is one ultimate consciousness, Chit, call it Paramashiva, Parandhama, Paramapada, Parabrahma, call it anything you want, that one ultimate Chit, that consciousness, Ekam Sat, Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. There are millions of ways to reach that, and that is what we call Advaita. Everything leads us ultimately to that moksha, that paramoksha, where you experience that oneness. And you beautifully highlighted that. Thank you so much for bringing that and highlighting that point. And I would like to next invite Sri Himanta Shrestha ji, who's a Hindu activist who's joining us here. And is there something that you would like to share?
Okay, namaste to all. So actually, I'm not very kind of activist or something like that. Of course, I am a Hindu, and I am from Nepal. Now staying in USA, Wisconsin. Listening to you all, so it was it is very good to hear from all of you different aspects of this, and it looks a little bit broader than what I thought. And Mr. Ramesh Khanalji, who is also from Nepal and our colleague. So, excuse me. So we are actually doing some kind of satsang or spiritual thought sharing on a virtual basis. And we have also come across these things, various incidents, and that those discussions and kind of thing, and trying to understand the reasons and what could be the root cause. Or in virtual satsang, they always us, and our organization here we have, and this virtual conversations. So we are doing this and try all the other. It is where the make always we think like
that's well.
Yeah, and so how we are going to make all things, which is the, as you have mentioned earlier, that this is the living lifestyle that has been explained in Vedas and also in Puranas and Upanishads. So how we are going to explain this to new generations, people, so that they will accept it more heartedly. So these are the things, some of the things that I wanted to point out, which need to be understood, and even if not in a big group, so even if a smaller circle among ourselves, wherever they are, they can work these things out and try to listen to, and also they study and make some sense, because it is very hard. Even the new books which has been written either in Nepali or Hindi or other things, it really doesn't make sense to the truth, what has been the original or organic explanations of these things. So it doesn't make sense the way that it is written.
Actually, that's that point that you have highlighted, Himanta Shrestha ji. Thank you so much for that. The point you highlighted brings us to the last point, but a very important one, because like you said, even for people to have access to the original source scriptures, if a person has to read, and currently what is available is the Maximilian version, or the distorted version, history that is made comfortable or to suit the views that they want you to have. And this is how not just Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the various ancient civilization, ancient indigenous nations have been destroyed. That is why Swamiji not just has revived and re-established Kailasa, he has established the United Ancient Nations, reviving and standing up as the voice for the ancient indigenous enlightened civilizations. We have had hundreds of them, and today Sanatana Hindu Dharma is the only longest living civilization, and so many other ancient indigenous nations are literally facing a threat to their very survival, their home, or their traditions, their cultures, everything being persecuted. And today we have here with us, joining with us, we have Roberto, who's the national representative of the Enotopo community. He is here with us. He is part of the Ensunetro National organizations. And joining with us also we have the Rajya Sabha member, Sri Mahasatya Surupaya, who's going to be translating, because Roberto is a representative of an ancient indigenous civilization himself, and he's here to take this beyond what we are just talking about to a broader perspective of what Swamiji is already foreseeing and reviving and re-establishing.
Mari Mari, Compuche, Mari Mari, Pu Peñi, Pulamien, Compu Wenei. Buenas noches a los hermanos, las hermanas, los amigos y Chaltumay. Gracias por este espacio, por este momento. Gracias por esta convocatoria. Gracias por poder unir nuestras voces, por poder unir nuestra intención a las intenciones de los hermanos que están presentes hoy. Vivimos situaciones muy difíciles como la han vivido nuestros ancestros, y es lo que queda después de las colonias. Venimos de países y de lugares y de territorios que han sido colonizados, tanto allí en la India como aquí en América.
Claro que sí.
Por eso...
Claro que sí. So, Nityanandam, so Mr. Roberto is telling that, first of all, he's giving a salutation in his own native language, and he's taking a parallel statement on how the destruction of civilizations, ancestral civilizations, has been occurring both in India and with all the ancestral civilizations in the planet Earth. And he's beginning with this statement. Continúa, Roberto, por favor.
Gracias. Por eso el sistema que instalaron las colonias en nuestros territorios es un sistema que va contra la vida, que va contra nuestra madre tierra y sobre todo contra nuestra espiritualidad.
And he's making emphasis on the systems that have been imposed on the land, on the civilization that is against Mother Earth and their own traditions. Continúa.
Hoy nuestros territorios están siendo saqueados. Hoy es el litio, el petróleo, la minería. Eso deja muerte, eso deja culturas rotas, culturas saqueadas. Por eso es necesario esta unidad para el levantamiento de la ancestralidad.
Thank you. Roberto is talking about how important is the union of ancient nations, because due to the fact that the exploitation of natural resources, lithium, oil, and minerals, is causing death, the broken cultural systems in their own traditions, is making emphasis on how important it is to have unity within indigenous people, to make an emphasis on this statement. This is the reason why he's here. Continúa, Roberto, por favor.
Es necesario la unidad mundial de los ancestros, de las culturas ancestrales. Y hoy vemos en Swami esa posibilidad de que una todas estas luchas, de que pueda unir vuestra santidad, pueda unir la lucha de nuestros ancestros, nuestra lucha y la lucha indígena ancestral en todo el mundo, que esté unida y sobre todo que la espiritualidad sea la que guíe nuestro camino y sea esa luz lo que nos lleve adelante. Chal Tumay, gracias por este espacio.
Muchas gracias, Roberto. And then what Roberto is saying, he's making emphasis on how the SPH Nityananda Paramashivam, the importance of him not only reviving the Kailasa nation, but also uniting all the indigenous nations across the planet Earth in order for all of us to stand and have a voice, a global voice, to unite us and make us stronger. And he's actually giving thanks to Swamiji, and they feel the support of the SPH Nityananda Paramashivam towards all the indigenous people of the planet Earth. Thank you, Roberto. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Roberto. And thank you so much, Sri Mahasatya Swarupaya. And actually, I think this discussion can go on, but it's time for us to wrap, because in the interest of time, we have to, many of you have shared so many important points, highlighted something that all Hindus, all of us need to wake up to, and something that we all need to collectively see, understand, and raise awareness about what's happening, but also being part of the solution. This reminds me of a line that Swami